Bonjour. This video is going to be what I call step 2 of the Passé Composé for my students. Hopefully you have already seen this video or you're already familiar with this content. I just made a video that I have uploaded on just the basic Passé Composé, the basic past tense in French for er, ir, and re verb that all use avoir as the helper verb. And now I'm going to instruct for you the irregular Passé Composé. And so this will still be using avoir as the helper verb. So step 3, if you're familiar with the past tense in French, step 3 will be when we use être as the helper verb. So basically how this works is you're already familiar with the first step of past tense, how to conjugate an er, ir, and re verb. Basically, there are verbs that don't follow that pattern of the er. I'm going to put this back here for a sec. The er, where you take off the er and you add an e with an accent aigu. Or the ir, you take that off and add an I. Or the re, take off the re and you add a u. Some verbs don't follow that pattern at all. And so you just have to kind of memorize how they change. They are the irregulars of the Passé Composé. And I have them grouped in groups. So the first group is the U group. I will zoom it in here real quick. There we go, the U group. So avoir, the past participle is ew. And I tell my students it's just like little kids on a playground going, ew, you have cute cooties or something like that. So it's pronounced ew. So j'ai eu means I have had, or just simply I had. So again, avoir doesn't follow some pattern that we've learned. You have to memorize the avoir changes to ew. And it's in the U group. Another one is boire. And boire changes to bu. Boire is bu. So if you want to say, and boire is to drink. So you'd be saying j'ai bu, which means I have drank or I drank. Lire is lu. And lire means to read. So, for example, j'ai lu is I read. Or nous avons lu, we read. Pouvoir is pu. And pouvoir means to be able to. So j'ai pu is I was able to or I could, if you will. Recevoir is reçu, and there is a cédille on the C. J'ai reçu, I have received or I received. Voir is view, so voir is to see. So j'ai vu une montagne, I saw a mountain. Next one, vouloir is voulu. So for example, elle a voulu un crayon. She wanted a pencil. So again, all these verbs still use avoir as their helper verb, just like I have an example there. And there's actually one more I want to squeeze in here and add, and it is the verb vivre. And it is vécu. V-E-C-U, no cédille on the C. So vécu, so vivre, to live. So j'ai vécu en Angleterre. I lived in England. Okay, our next group is the IS group. The IS group. So our first verb is mettre. And mettre, the past participle is me. So mettre is to put. So I could say j'ai mis le papier sur la table. I put the paper on the table. Prendre is pris. This one is so often forgotten by my students. If you can put this in your memory, it will be very advantageous to you. So prendre is pris. J'ai pris une pomme. I had an apple, or I took an apple. Comprendre is compris. And notice there's prendre at the end of this, and you just have your com in front. So you just have your com in front of pris, just like prendre, pris, comprendre, compris. Comprendre is to understand or to comprehend. So j'ai compris means I understood. apprendre, again another prendre verb. Apprendre, and the past participle is appris. So j'ai appris le français. Apprendre is to learn. So I learned French. J'ai appris le français. They still all use avoir as the helper verb. Okay, our next group is the IT group. The IT group. So our first one is dear. Dear is D-I-T. So dear is to tell. So j'ai dit, normally you would say something like j'ai dit quelle chaleur. You know, I said, oh, how hot it is. Next one, écrire is écrit. So écrire is to write. So j'ai écrit, I wrote. Miscellaneous, I just have a few more. Être is été, and there's two accent aigus here. So j'ai été, I was. Not used that often, but you'll learn that later on a little more. And then last one is faire, and faire is fait. Past participle is fait. So j'ai fait un sandwich. I made a sandwich. And so these are the irregular past participles, the majority of them for the Passé Composé, that all of these verbs use avoir as their helper verb, and they still, and there's still one more video coming of the Passé Composé using être as the helper verb, but I hope you found this useful. Thank you for watching.